What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 15 of my Total War Warhammer 3 Skulltaker Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Skulltaker has been causing havoc on Ulthuan and just off the coast of Ulthuan as well, as we've taken the head of N'Akari, completing the second out of our three sort of self-made objectives to get the heads of the exalted greater demons, as well as taking out Luan Leoncoeur, who was trying to hunt N'Akari down. Two birds of one stone. The lion and the serpent both defeated, and at the very least N'Akari destroyed, though we will probably have to fight Bretonnia again a couple of times, though perhaps not with Skulltaker's army. Speaking of Skulltaker, he's still got moves left to make this particular turn. It's going to be a long turn, I'd wager, and since we did pop the Devotion's Tithe with that increase of income post-battle loot plus 25%, this is probably the time to rack up as much money as we can. So we're going to see whether we can take the couple of turns to have Skulltaker bounce around between the various territories of Ulthuan and sack them rather than raise them in order to try to get as much money as possible. I think an episode or two ago, we calculated that we needed like 300,000 gold or 400, I don't even remember the number anymore, to upgrade all of the stuff we currently needed, which we then concluded wasn't possible because we were losing like 10,000 gold per turn, or favor per turn, whatever. And, well, this is the time to make up that gold, make up that difference, upgrade all of our stuff, and get the admin sorted out in the sense that, so we don't have to do it again. So, let's start. Skulltaker, you are going to face off against Eltharion the Grim, so we're going to level up best boy Karanak real quick. Ruthless Pursuer is quite useless, so we're going to go for Bonar, and might as well get the Thick Skin. Brass Collar probably not going to be as useful. You have 110 spell resistance without Brass Collar. I think you'll be fine. Let's get into a kill and get that melee defense, and we'll eventually get Ruthless Pursuer, but again, the assassination, we're really not going to use Karanak for that. He wants to be on the battlefield. Let's get Murder up and running for first one of our Blood Reapers, ironically the last Blood Reaper that we're adding to this army, and I believe we're good to go. You. Who are you at war with? Eltharion, you're at war with the Dreadfleet. We very well may claim the Skull of Count Noctilus as well, but for now, we'll claim his cash. Oh, this is not a lot of cash, Noctilus. If it was more cash, I would be a little bit less inclined to destroy you, but now you have to die. Anyway, I guess you're already dead. Anyway, let's go here to Eltharion. I guess we'll maybe want to ignore Eltharion here. We have Eltharion at home in Eltharion. Yeah, we'll ignore her because she's in March stance, right? So we could attack this, occupy it to maintain the port, and then attack Eltharion, which will, by being destroyed and defeating a lord, regain all of our movement points, which will allow us to jump to either Tor Achare or Sephirodron, and then down this way. At least, that's the plan. Let's see if it works. Here we go. And, ooh, can you reach? You can reach. Okay. And I got a little bit worried there for a second. What do we have in terms of his army? Well, Eltharion himself is fine. He's level 16, and I really doubt that he's going to have any kind of chance against Skulltaker. Sure, we're damaged, and sure, they have a decent number of silver helms and white lines. Well, and we're damaged. Maybe they can do decently. Let's find out. Go.
Chosen, the murder god's own sacred executioner. Today, his eye is on you. Show him prowess.
Alright, here we go. That we will, or at least hopefully, as it remains to be seen whether Eltharion will be too cowardly to face off against Skulltaker. Skulltaker, as usual, Vanguard deployed close to the enemy army. Once again, really happy with the... Oh man, those trees must be really annoying. Really happy with... Hey, he keeps running into those trees. Do you not have a Strider trait? You have nothing that'll allow you to sort of phase through those trees? Well, that's a shame. I wonder if we can get that by defeating somebody. Anyway, as I was starting to say, oh, it does look like Eltharion will attempt to close the distance. Isn't that lovely? I mean, there was nothing we could do if he wasn't going to, because he could just hover up in the sky, and Skulltaker has no real easy way to reach him. So I guess the duel-ish is here. If okay, it looks like he took 2 hits from Skulltaker, and we'll book it on out of there. Alright, well, in the meantime, the rest of our army is on the approach. Khorne and the doggos over on the left flank to hopefully surround and destroy the Eltharion Reavers and whatever other units we can catch. Our main stack, or what's left of it at this point, is sort of blobbing up together, waiting for that retrofit until we once again have sufficient bloodletter capacity. And of course our Skull Crusher, or Blood Crushers rather, are moving together under Skyla to find whatever they can find. Still trying to tech to tier 5 for the Blood Crushers, but I think that at last we have tier 5 upgrades available, so we should be able to start recruiting them and the Blood Crushers and Skull Crushers relatively soon for Arbol and for Skulltaker. Looks like he's still hovering up above, so there's not much we can do about that. At least Skulltaker can probably kill off a few of the White Lions or whatever dares to face off against him. Over on the left flank, Khorne has pretty much destroyed this unit of Eltharion Reavers, and we'll be trying to head around it, around the other units of spears and whatever other melee to head into the enemy's back line and their range. Gonna back off with our fast movers on the right flank a little bit, while our main stack at last closes the distance. And it looks like Eltharion wants to land again once he's sighted a target-rich environment, but that'll just end up with Skulltaker actually hunting him down this time. And hopefully once he's stuck in the press of bloodletters and whatnot, he won't be able to escape. Not that he's going to be able to take too many hits at his current rate. He's down to about half HP, and every hit from Skulltaker is pretty darn devastating. There we go, White Lions versus Bloodletters. It's a pretty solid matchup for both of them. I expect this to mean they'll both do decent damage to each other. Both are wasting their armor piercing a little bit. Well, actually, 95 armor on the White Lions, 46. So they're wasting their armor piercing. We're not wasting ours as much, but admittedly, the regular non-exalted Bloodletters could use more armor in the first place. Anyway, it does look like these units are exchanging decently. It's a one-on-one over on the right flank here. 36 units of White Lions killed by regular Bloodletters, and 19 units of Bloodletters killed by the White Lions. Looks like the Bloodletters are killing looks like the Bloodletters are killing the White Lions at about twice the rate of vice versa, which is kind of interesting to see. Anyway, the enemy's back line is in pretty horrendous shape. Our fast movers have arrived, rushing through those spears, and it does look like Eltharion has dropped. He was kind of, sort of in the press of units there, so that wasn't particularly interesting, as it wasn't really a true one-on-one, but all good. We've had plenty and will have plenty more of those, and if he was too cowardly to face off against Skulltaker in a direct one-on-one, well, perhaps he wasn't worth watching. Anyway, the rest of the enemy army has at this point collapsed. Our doggos once again have overrun the enemy archers. The enemy army has shattered, and the battle is ours. Nice little exchange between the Bloodletters and the White Lions. Alright, there we go, and a solid 18.7k post-battle loot, so that'll keep adding to our coffers. Eltharion's army defeated, though we did take a little bit of damage there, perhaps not surprising, but it looks like the White Lions, again, unsurprisingly, did the lion's share of the work. Eltharion himself did run away from Skulltaker the first time, but did get stopped the second time, and I have been noticing a little bit of a weird behavior from Khorne, who has odd tendency to stop moving that the other Fleshhounds don't seem to share, in that it gets ordered to attack something and it's not on guard mode or anything, and he kind of just stops. I'm not sure why. I'm just gonna have to try to keep paying attention to that. But anyway, otherwise, looks like we got plenty of damage and kills on our various doggos, and it looks like at 9k the Bloodhound Tide will carry the day. And 147 kills, the Blood Crushers did fairly decently, though slightly outdone by the Skulltakers in terms of kills and damage count alike. Lovely. Alright, we are going to occupy the place. It's a bit of a waste of skulls, but we want to keep this as a port, so we will occupy it. I mean, I guess we could... Nah, just occupy it. Alright, occupied and missile resistance 10% and charge defense versus large, which will be very, very nice for Skulltaker. Solid stats. What are his missile resistance stats like at? 41%, not bad. It's still weird that he has absolutely no ward save whatsoever. I'm still not 100% sure whether we should replace the Bloody Shackle with a... Because he has healing out of the Potion of Healing. So we could replace Bloody Shackle with a Talisman of Endurance to give him that 16% ward save, etc., but have his healing capabilities. On the other hand, we could replace the Potion of Healing with like a Rock of Inevitability here, and allow him to debuff enemies even further, and with the speed debuffs prevent them from running away from him. Both good options, haven't decided on which. For now though, Skulltaker hit Eltharion, whatever, and to resolve it, I have concerns, but do it. And 67, did we lose 65 in that fight? We lost more doing that than, of course we did. Can you heal a tiny, tiny bit? Devour those captives, please. No, at least we got a Lichbone Pennant out of it. Khorne Familiar, sure. This gives us enough range to reach either Sephirothrin or Tor Achare. Well, that's just lovely. Or Tor Achare should we want to do so, but there's no real need. Let's grab the skull pile here. Hit Tor Achare, we'll sack it because it's worth 24k and we're trying to get to like 300 or so. And then we'll fight the battle against Sephirothrin. This... You know, considering how much damage we just took auto-resolving, I fear that we may have to manually fight this. I'm gonna max speed through this just using our single entities, because we'll have to... try to maximize our moves in this particular turn and over the next couple of turns, and since we can't heal as yet with Skulltaker, we're gonna have to do it like this. However, don't worry guys, this is probably gonna be one of the last few times that we do this, because we're getting close to that that tech or that skull cloak empowerment that will allow us to heal the army fully whenever we defeat a lord, which will make it a lot easier in the late game to sort of bounce around and auto-resolve the sort of weaker armies with Skulltaker and allow the other armies chances to shine. And ooh, after this we could do a cinematic battle against the Wood Elves with our Skull Reaper army, which should be pretty fun. Single entities, okay, let's just go here. I'm just too lazy to go over there. Let's do the, ooh, you know what we could also do? You guys are in stock, so you can go through that gate. Like so. And single entities, all of you go here. Anything else? Well, I guess you guys can move in once the walls are broken. Alright, go here, and maybe we will move the... Well, bloodletters are damaged, but... Alright, I think that's everything. Minus Skulltaker is supposed to go here, and... Get closer, get closer. Wish you all had the Vanguard deployment, but alas, start battle. Go, go, and you all start working on that gate. Alright, that's good to me. And, the towers aren't actually fire. Oh, I wonder why the AI deployed like that. Well, whatever, they have some archers up there. And it won't matter soon. Ooh, actually, no. Okay, move away from that. Ooh, although it will mean that the archers fire on you. The thing is, the motorcycles, they really get in your way if you're using them to attack a wall, and that actually takes longer to break the gate with them attacking it than otherwise. So that's why we're gonna move them away. All right, and the gate's at 8.2k, unless these guys move in to defend it. Still no. Looks like Khorne can't get through. 55 seconds until he can summon some doggos, though. And you guys are still tagging that. The other gate is nearly broken through, though. Alright, let's speed it back up, and... Oh, no, that's not good. Archers are attacking the... Okay, wait. We have to hide within the gate now. Hey, alright, the gate's broken. Alright, gonna take a few seconds. I probably should charge right on through into those archers. The other gate's broken through as well, and well, there's some spears out there. Go kill those. Do we want to activate anything? Now let's activate, let's say, one of the Blood Reaper's abilities like so, and I didn't mean to ungroup you. I also want the fast movers here and the less hurt bloodletters, and I'm gonna speed it back up to max. Alright, you guys run down those archers fast as you can, and just ignore the melee units, because the melee units aren't really a threat anyway, so we just have to make sure that the archers aren't firing anymore. Alright, and it looks like these spears have been nearly ripped apart by our doggos. Our own fast movers are nearly here. Let's help them out a little bit, and perhaps even buff them up with one of the others. As in one of the other Blood Reapers, like so, like so. Alright, and bounce between the fast move, or bounce between the archers. I know this is silly, but we saw what the auto-resolve does. And this is what, whoa, what the heck? Am I crazy, or did the banner of a unit just fall down there? I guess they knocked some of the units up, but I've never seen a banner do that. That actually happened, right? Did I hallucinate that? Or did that actually happen? And oh, I stopped paying attention for a few seconds and the doggos are dying. Yeah, that's what I get. That's what I get. We probably lost more doggo numbers to these archers than other units, but I got freaked out by the banner dropping, if that in fact did happen. Alright, anyway, we're good. And let's see, losses 11, yeah, all doggos to yep. That's what I get for max speeding and whatnot. But hey, let's face it, the auto-resolve still would have killed, well, if the other battle was anything to go by, at least 65 units, and probably more, because this was technically a walled settlement, even if it wasn't really much of one with a garbage garrison. Can't be trusting that auto-resolve. Anyway, we'll obviously sack this because it's a lot of cash, but we will need to raise a blood host after us soon, because we'll want a blood host to sort of travel down the line and occupy some of these territories. Granted, I'm not so sure that we really need said territories, but, well, while we're here. Now, Terror Masters, grab that skull pile. I wonder if we should use you for that purpose. Then again, you have a really nice army, and you could very well take Tor Achare should you desire to do so. On the other hand, I guess these guys could do it. Well, let's at least threaten it, and we'll see how Gilgallion reacts, and then we'll go based off of that. Skulltaker gonna fight Sephirodrin in a second, but for now, what I'd like to do is have Valnir Dal fight Treesinger Sestashal. Now that Scar Bloodwrath has leveled up, we have that leader of the Scaramore buff, which we've been waiting for, which gives us Rage for all of our Marauders, Skull Reapers, and Wrathmongers, upkeep reduction, which is nice, and the armor plus 15 for all of them. We're looking to... Let's get missile resistance for now. We're looking to have these guys be as armored as chosen, which means we're getting those 4 cultists. Each cultist provide an additional 10 armor, rather, for Marauders, Skull Reapers, and Warmongers, which means a plus 40 armor, putting these guys at 136 and just above standard chosen in terms of their armor. Of course, our own chosen will also be super heavily armored because of various buffs, but it's gonna be neat, especially since these Skull Reapers are a little bit more fragile. Anyway, what we need to do here, or the way that we need to do this, is this. The Red Harvesters, we're going to have you attack, and we'll use Valnir Dal to reinforce, because, yeah. It's just the way we gotta do it. And I guess we can't kill the Sisters of Twilight right now because we need to chase them down in order to actually get Valnir their defeat trait, because he wants to be able to, you know, replenish their casualties. Alright, and this also means that we don't need Skulltaker to get them because he can just replenish his army with post-Lord kill buffs. Valnir Dal, let's try those Skull Reapers and Wrathmongers, shall we? Go. Alright, here we go. I really like the cornate skies, the red skies, and the red reflection in the water with our this sort of map. And this is actually a dark elven map rather than a high elven map, which is interesting. But anyway, Or, I mean, it wouldn't be a high elven map in the first place since we're fighting wood elves and they're kind of in Nagaroth, so yeah. We have 2 armies here, but we are not using either one of the blood hosts. We are just going to use the Skull Reapers and the Wrathmongers, as this is really their debut battle, so just gonna move around and try to escape. It does look like the frickin' Hawk Riders are moving towards us and are looking to, by the looks of it, kill off the Chaos Furies, while the other Hawk Riders and the Eagles are chasing around our Skull Cannons, who also couldn't hide in the forest. So we're just going to trundle around, annoy the enemy a little bit, but fortunately the rest of our forces have made it onto the map. The 2 cultists, these 2 are the first ones we got, but will be ones we probably put on, probably, I should say, put on War Shrines, but we'll see. We'll need at least 3 War Shrines in this army. And I want to see how those Skull Reapers do with all those stat upgrades that they've gotten. Ooh, volleys from those Hawk Riders into the Furies take out a massive number of them. And they get hit by a Fireball as well, down to 40, and by the looks of it, disintegrating. I guess we don't really care that much, just sort of minor annoyance. We also do have a Scar Bloodwrath in this particular army, and he's rushing out ahead of the rest of our forces. I'm gonna get hit with a fair few arrows while he does, but he's going to move to duel the enemy Malevolent Ancient Tree Spirit, or Ancient Tree Man, or this is Malevolent one? No, just a regular Ancient Tree Man, whatever. Malevolent ones are cooler anyway. Especially from a color scheme perspective. Anyway, there we go. These 2 begin fighting. Scar will activate his Bloodstorm Blades, which will massively increase his damage capabilities. An 89 melee attack with Sundering Armor and 1,000 damage per hit. It looks like he's definitely winning this fight, and while he does, the rest of our forces will rush towards the enemy. The Wrathmongers are going to be faster than the Skull Reapers, so they'll head into the fight rather quickly. I'm still not sure whether I like the Regiment of Renown with their sort of glowing weapons and armor. I do like the effect, and I love ooh, nice hit. Very nice hit. Heads are flying everywhere. Like that effect on the whatchamacallums, the Chaos Dwarfs, but I also really like these guys. They don't have the glowing bits, but it kind of, I don't know, kind of makes them look more menacing. Maybe a little bit less silly to some degree. These guys look more demonic, but also for their sort of fiery eyes are less menacing than these just sort of regular glowing red eyes. Anyway, this is a solid matchup. War Dancers versus the Wrathmongers, though it looks like these War Dancers are having a pretty bad time. They have less armor piercing on the Twin Blades than they would on the Azure Spears, and the now very heavily armored at 116 Wrathmongers are dealing with them fairly well. They will get hit with a volley from those Hawk Riders, but that's just not enough. The rest of our massive pile of Skull Reapers have found all those enemy Glade Guard as well as all those enemy, Deepwood Scouts and whatever, and they're getting absolutely overrun. But that's as expected, and in fact the enemy army will, by the looks of it, not last much longer. The War Dancers have failed, and while the Hawk Riders continue peppering us with arrows from above, there's only 2 of them. And as the rest of the enemy army gets ripped apart, most likely the Hawk Riders will simply book it on out of there. An Eagle attempted to land here, but the Frenzied Reapers, our named unit of Skull Reapers, did manage to bring it down in terms of HP without losing a single Reaper. And with that, it looks like the enemy army will shatter, completely overrun, and the battle is ours. Very nice. Pretty darn happy with that so far. I mean, obviously this was an easy little fight against relatively basic troops, but as we move north, we'll encounter the Nagaron Dark Elves, who will probably give us a fair bit of a fight, especially considering they have all that armor-piercing access on those Dark Shards of theirs, at least until we reach Valkia. And either Valkia will become our vassal, or we will have to fight her for a little bit of Khorne-on-Khorne action. Fair few fights in these guys' future. Alright, nice little debut for Volnir Dahl and his Skull Reaper army. It ain't complete yet. Once again, I want to replace 2 of the Skull Reapers with 2 more cultists, 2 on war shrines and then 2 on horses to hunt single entities. And that'll leave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. We may reduce it to 6 if we want to get a couple of big boys in there, like a couple of slaughter brutes or something, just to sort of get a little bit more variety within the army, or even a couple of marauder horses, because they potentially could chase stuff down and are in theory just, well, this is the only army that's really using marauders, so yeah. Anyway, well done to these guys, and thank you to the Red Harvesters, who we didn't use in the battle, but allowed sort of this to happen. Ooh, I suppose, you know what, by virtue of that, what we can do is this. You'll know. Ooh, 1,300 skulls? Yeah, take the skulls. Since the Red Harvester has helped us in that manner, allowing us to do that, we'll take one of the Skull Reapers and name them the Red Harvesters. There we go. Alright, I like it. And that way we can commemorate another one of these guys. Featherfoe Torque, not super useful on you, though damn those Hawk Riders for killing off one of the Furies from this army. Juggernaut for Fator Morspig. I don't know who you are. Then... Red Harvesters, we need you to go here in March stance. And I think what we want to do is for them to stand beside the Skullhounds. I think that neither one of them will get attacked, but we don't want them to get the defeat trait, so I think the Sisters of Twilight will be too afraid to attack them, and who knows? The Sisters of Twilight might be brave enough to attack Volnir Dahl, which would work out way nicely for us. You're going towards Deadly Onslaught, so let's get you Murder, and you have thick skin, but we really need to have more missile resistance on you. As we clearly saw, the enemy likes to attack it. And you know what? Let's get you a Hunt. We don't have a lot in the way of free space or free points available, but it's not like we're really expecting you to do damage. So Cleave isn't super necessary, and the extra speed may allow you to better keep up with the rest of the troops, and we'll level up the rest of the guys later. Skulltaker, I think it's your time to shine once again, assuming that we don't need to do anything. Take control of the unoccupied ruin. I suppose we could do that with one of these places if we should raise it instead of sacking it. For example, Tor Achare is worth only 14k, and that might be worthy of our attention to raise a new blood host so that we can use it to grab Tor Achare and keep going southward. There are, after all, some nice trade goods on Ulthuan. I'm not really going to bother with the admin on Ulthuan in the sense that we're probably not really going to upgrade anything here, and especially it's not really defensible, since we're not really building defensive structures anywhere, but at least the trade good locations and stuff can be ours while we spread out to the rest of the world. Anyway, as Skulltaker, I guess you're going to hit Surfiridron right now. You know what, we probably could spread this out a little bit. Who needs to move? Cultists. You're headed to Eltharion, because we're going to set up a cult for Skulltaker to teleport there. And this cultist was going to do the same thing. I was going to potentially do something at Norska, but since we've been fighting Norska in the Ogre campaign, what I'm trying to do in this campaign and the Ogre campaign at the same time is essentially to fight different foes, so that, you know, more variety. Which has kind of been working out so far, in that we're fighting completely different factions. Now let's send you to maybe Altdorf then, cultist. The other option would be to send them here, but, you know, we can't really stay here, though we could very well sack a bunch of places. Altdorf is in the middle of a bunch of stuff, and it does feel appropriate to destroy it as well. But anyway, Crimson Beasts, and again, no, you guys stay as you are. We're saving this lord for when we need to re-up Skulltaker's movement range, which we still may need. Scarlet Feasters, you are going to... well, 16k, probably worthy of a sack. Unresolve, ouch, but what are you gonna do? And sack it and then occupy it, I guess. Ah, free Executioner's Axe, very nice pickup. Occupied, we'll have to keep an eye on those skulls. And this one we did want to occupy because we want to get that marble up and running ASAP. You're probably gonna switch to Mortal as well, but I'll deal with you later. You know what? Delete the trophy racks and just wait until level 2 and then build the marble afterwards. Anyway, who else still needs to do things? The Crimson Legion, who are you? You two. Alright, the Scarlet Hunters. Let's land at Fortress of Dawn, because Kairos went over here rather than over there. Arabian Arms. And what do we have here? Ensorcel Blades, melee defense. I like it. And the Iron Curse icon may be helpful as well. You two, sort of stick together. We're going to hit the Fortress of Dawn together as well. And you're suffering attrition because of the Blood Host general raginess. Have I moved you guys? No. Alright, so you're all headed to Kairos as well. Go here. Go here. Go here, and there should be a fourth, and I think that's the last one, right? Yeah. These things will hopefully occupy themselves, and we won't have to occupy ourselves with dealing with them. And anybody else? Gerald Black Raider, yes, you are headed to Cafe at last. Go, my friend. Ooh, I want to test something. We are at 7.8k, so we know that the Blood Hosts get screwed by this. Yeah, that's over 1,000 extra gold per turn while they're in the sea lane. Interesting. So it's not just the Blood Hosts that get affected by it. Well, what can you do? It's still saving us an insane amount of travel time, so it's obviously worth it. Kukar. Okay, so what we want to do with you is this. We'll use the Doom Feasters here. We ought to resolve this. I'm just going to assume that this isn't going to kill everything. Yeah, okay, we're okay. And we're going to, I guess, occupy the place as well, because it also has marble, and we really need the gold here for the, yeah. Get some of the skulls back via sacking it first. It's probably not enough to make it worth our time. Alright, so you're gonna grab this. Alright, and we'll probably make this mortal as well. In fact, you can just do this right now so I don't forget it. And another Coronate Mutant? Sure. Another Trickster Shard. I'm still not sure that those are useful. Oh, actually, speaking of Trickster Shard, or speaking of mages, 2 more turns. Instantly recruit a Court Cult Magus. I still don't know what that is, but we'll see. Alright, what else do we have here? We'll want to hit Tor Achare, and I assume that you can sack it for more money? Yeah, very slightly more money. Oh, we wouldn't want to sack it, would we? Because we'd want to keep the... Actually, we would we? Wouldn't we? We would still want to sack it. Yeah, alright. Haftir Nightbane, go here. Alright, you're gonna land, and then we'll reinforce with our other units, and then together, by your powers combined, and that includes Kukar, in Kuhar and March stance, you're gonna go here. You're gonna go here. For the love of... Why are you making this difficult, game? Go here. Hello? There you go. Alright, and all of you together should hopefully be able to auto-resolve this, as we shouldn't need to fight another one of these, although... Man, it's not a horrible garrison. I'll see. If it's low casualties, we'll sack it, but if it's high casualties, nah, it's low casualties. This is still gonna hurt us tremendously on auto-resolve, isn't it? Yeah, whatever. That's actually not so bad. It's a little bit more evenly spread out, which is fine by me. We will sack this, even though there's gold, and then we'll stop moving, and then we will get another Coronate Mutant, and another Lichbone Pennant, and another Blood Collector. Ooh, wait a moment. You need a Blood Collector, don't you? Lose the Slaughterman ancillaries, let's grab that Blood Collector. If I can find it, alright. Now, who's missing one? We have one on Arbol, we have one on Kuchar, obviously. Kuchar the Blood Hunter has to have a Blood Collector. Skulltaker, Haftir Nightbane, Arbol, and Volnir. Okay, yeah, that's about right. Then, while we're here, you, Volnir Dahl, since we got that Razor Standard, I feel like you should have it. Also, you have a Drill Master and the Blood Collector. Grab the Arena Fighter, why not? Yes to the Agent of Blood, a yes to the Lichbone Pennant, and a yes to the Razor Standard. And that's about it. Oh, Norscan Marauder, income from post-battle loot. I guess the question is who's liable to be fighting the most to be able to take the most advantage of this. Frankly, I feel like we should put that on Arbol, who's sort of by himself and unsupported, so when he gets into more wars, he will probably be the one to get the most benefit out of it. Lose the Coronate Zealot to lose the Coronate Familiar, and get the Norscan Marauder, and we didn't have another Razor Standard. Oh, we only have the one. Oh, maybe we should actually give that to Skulltaker. I'll deal with it later. For now you're fine. And I'll deal with your items later as well. And also wait. You can recruit another Chosen of Khorne. We don't have the ability to get knights, so... I mean, not in one turn. We'd have to do it in 2 turns, which probably means we should start recruiting some here. Do we have the knight building here? No. I mean, we do, but we don't have it to level up. Okay, no, let's start on that. What do we have here? We have the Skull Cannon here, we have the Beastie Boys, we have the Soul Grinders. I mean, I guess we could use Khorne Gores in place of Knights, but well, they'll be recruitable in 3 turns, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Anyway, we'll deal with the buildings later. For now, Skulltaker. One more fight ahead of you, bud. And we'll jump in and attack Sephirodrin. And we're gonna fight this, I guess, cinematically as well. Medium casualties. It's another decent stack, though they are in March stance, and we are further damaged from having fought Eltharion. Go.
Skulls and blood for the blood god.
Alright, a very nice shot to start the battle off from our Hellforged Bellowers, with the enemy milling around in a fairly big blob like this. Should be very nice shots. Damn. Now those, well, showing artillery superiority to those elves. 2 shots, 76 kills and 8.5k damage. Anyway, Skulltaker heads directly for the enemy lord as he likes to do, and the mage calls her Eagle Pal to help her out. Now, eagles are obviously not to be underestimated, once again, especially for those of you that watched the Imra campaign will attest to that, but this eagle will go down very, very quickly. 2 hits brings it down to half HP, a third and down to 5% HP, and a 4th will execute the poor little guy. Oh, now I feel bad. And allows Skulltaker to head towards the enemy mage. No escaping this time around. Now, this battle I approached a little bit more carefully so that we didn't suffer as much damage. So our Bloodletter stack actually approached the enemy army within the tree line so that they didn't get peppered by arrows and destroyed or heavily damaged in that manner. We are also approaching the enemy line with Skyla now that the forces are engaged, and here come the fast movers to charge right on through. Nice little counter charge from the enemy white lines, though of course the fragility of those units will mean that they will get ripped apart rather fast. And ooh, magical artillery and conventional artillery, although I suppose in some ways the skull cannons are magical artillery, depending on how you look at it, exchanging fire both in the sort of press of units. And just as our units of blood crushers and blood beasts move in, the flesh hounds hit the enemy in the back line. Not a hammer versus anvil so much as a hammer and a hammer here, but I guess that's just Khornate armies in general. Who needs an anvil when everything is hammers? Alright, and the enemy army is truly getting hammered now. Not in a good way. The Bloodletters are completely overrunning these spears, unsurprisingly, and the motorcycle units are doing great, disrupting the enemy formations as they get hacked apart by the Bloodletters' greatswords. Though alas, it won't last for much longer, as Sephirodrin's army is very much on the verge of collapse. Sephirodrin herself, I believe, has been executed by Skulltaker, but she's just a regular mage lord and thus a very weak one. So that was always going to take seconds. Alright, I think when we reach maybe when we reach Lothern or wherever we're going with Skulltaker, before we teleport, that's where we'll let Skyla leave the army and head off to sort of command his own force, as Skulltaker shouldn't really need him anymore. Not that he ever did, mind you, but the legendary heroes have to separate from the legendary lord's army so that he doesn't sort of overshadow them. Anyway, another nice little fight, and Ulthuan continues giving us all that cash. Alright, there we go. I obviously played that a little bit more carefully than against Eltharion, but we needed to preserve our units. I think that the only 2 losses that we suffered might have been from a friendly fire hit from the Hellforged Bellowers into the Heralds of Khorne's Fury. I'm not 100% sure on it, but I thought they were at 20 rather than 18. Well, either way, we're going to grab those skulls because we need to keep grabbing skulls via battles, and then hopefully we... Ooh, Armor Fortune, nice pickup. Hopefully that way we won't need to worry about the hopefully we won't need to worry about getting those skulls via other means. Now you, Skulltaker, are gonna hit Tor Achare, and you're going to raise a blood host here. I wanna say something, wait. Yeah, we're up to 240k, 140,000 gold earned this turn, and we're not done yet. I assume that the defenders at Tor Achare... Yeah, okay, that one would be worth fighting, I think. Tor Achare, not so much, but Tor Achare might warrant another sort of single entity assault so that we don't suffer any more damage. So you know what? I'm gonna call this episode here. We're out of time anyway. And gonna be a shorter episode because of the engagement threshold and all that. But anyway, Skulltaker... I'll deal with the Tor Achare battle between the episodes and then raise the place for a blood host. Then we come back next episode, we can assault Tor Achare, and then after that, presumably just auto-resolve these places, whichever ones we can reach. And if we run out of movement range, we'll grab this fight, and we can... Yeah, we'll probably fight at the guy in Vale as well with these guys, which very well might be fun. But once again, we'll save that for next time, as well as the Sisters of Twilight fight and more action from Volnir Dal. We are also approaching these guys, so we might want to meet up with Kuhar the Bloodhunter and this army, and then send 3 armies retrofitted and to do their own thing elsewhere, while Skulltaker teleports away in 3 turns, leaving everybody else to deal with Ulthuan and whatnot. Ooh, if Be'lakor is alive, we should probably take his skull as well. You know what, man? We should probably add Be'lakor's skull to the win condition, right? A, because he has a really nice defeat trait, but also B, because that way we would have these skulls of all the Exalted Greater Demons, and then I guess this sort of... Well, just Be'lakor just because it's funny. Because he always has to get screwed over. But anyway, I digress. More Skulltaker to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. Ooh, yes, Khorne colony. All glory to the algorithm. We're going to use this to get Alamasus for our flying army. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.